Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Asaph Adonai. Welcome to Asaph Adonai Stories. In the 1960s, there were a slew of science fiction shows that were both in film and on television. There was Star Trek with William Shatner. There was Space 1999 with Martin Landau and his wife, Barbara Bain. There was Lost in Space with June Lockhart. There was Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea with Richard Basehart. There was The Time Tunnel with James Darren. There was Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston. And there were so many other science fiction shows of that era. But of all the science fiction shows, I think the most famous, or perhaps the most fun science fiction show in that era to watch is the show we're going to talk about on today's Asaph Stories. And we're talking about Land of the Giants, known to the world as Land of the Giants. Now, Land of the Giants is an hour-long American science fiction television program. It lasted 2 seasons. It aired starting September 1968, and it ended in 1970. Now, Land of the Giants is the 4th in the series of the Irwin Allen movies of all of his creations, because he created shows like Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Land of the Giants, Lost in Space, and The Time Tunnel too. But I think that Land of the Giants is the most fun. And also there were 5 novels based on this television series here, and 3 of them were written by the science fiction author Murray Leinster, and they were both published in 1968 and 1969. Now the synopsis of Land of the Giants, basically in 1983 there was a ship called the Spindrift, and its crew and passengers, they were on a flight from Los Angeles to London, and they had to go through space to get to their destination, the borderline of space. And while they were in space, they were sucked into this magnetic space storm, and it caused them to be plunged into a land of giants. And that's how the series started. And of course, week after week, they had to deal with giant spiders, giant cats, giant dogs, and especially giant people, because the people were threatened by the little people, they called them, because the little people were more advanced as far as their spaceship and their technology. So that's why they were such a threat to the giant people. This was just such a delightful, fun show to watch. So you can just look up any of the Irwin Allen movies like I mentioned, and of course Land of the Giants, and just have fun with this. Gary Conway, he was the captain of the Spindrift, and Don Matheson, he was the engineer of the ship. Kirk Kasner was the general, and Don Marshall was the co-pilot, and the first African-American co-pilot on television there at that time. Then they had STEFAN ARNGRIM, he was the boy child, they called him in the series. Deanna Lund and Heather Young, they were also the 2 ladies on the ship. Heather Young was the stewardess, and Deanna Lund, she was just a passenger. So this was such a delightful, fun science fiction show, and you can just look up Land of the Giants and just have fun. So until our next show, I am your host, Asaph Adonai. Maranatha.